Bhagwal Das.
Bhagwal Das.
Bhagwan
Yeah.
Das.
What do you think is the most, what would you like to sell about your place to people in the West?
Simplicity. Okay, it is what we do over here is we offer the village life of Kerala
Okay.
and how the people live in the village, and we don't have any fancy things over here. Okay, the food is very simple, the way we eat it, and cooked by the local stuff people, and the most important thing is we have something called the Responsible Tourism Initiative, where we are sharing what we do with the villagers of the area. We have a bus stop created with the help of the guests. We run a school, elementary school, with the help of the guests, and the evening dinners are the main dishes made in the village in some household, where they get a piece of the action.
Okay. Oh, that's
So it is getting the villagers involved with
Involved
what we do.
in enterprise.
Yeah, and
Okay. And how? What kind of support do you get from your villages on this?
well, most of the villagers are very happy because this is the only place that has Europeans coming in, and whatever we are doing as far as the bus stop, the school, and everything else is reflected.
What?
No, it is reflected on reflected on the villagers' behavior towards the guest when they come here. And if the guests, the only time I don't go around with the guests is when they go on the village walks.
Okay.
And what happens is, if I go, all they get is a hello. But if
see.
I'm not there, they get spoken to,
Oh, I see.
and sometimes they even get invited into their homes
I see.
for a tea or something.
Property or something.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And you have all the children's gathering around them, asking for a photograph, and it makes the guests very happy,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
And then the other thing we do is we do local village activities,
Right.
like we take the guests to the basket weavers,
Okay.
or the potter, or the weaving village, so they get to know what actually happens, around the village.
Okay. Village industries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then another interesting thing that we've been doing is if there is any harvest or planting going on in the fields, paddy fields around us, and if the guests are interested, we let them take part in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and get into the fields and slush themselves.
So they
up.
get themselves quite dirty in the
That's
process.
right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of feedback have you had from those that have done it? On that?
Oh, they love it. They love it. They do it. They start doing it. Like they are shown with the other, workers in the area.
Right.
And then a couple of times they finally ended up, throwing slush at each other.
Really?
Getting dirty.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the other activities you have in your establishment?
We have day trips to the wildlife sanctuary.
Okay.
And we have treks over here.
Yeah.
And we take them to the dance school, which is about an hour from here, called Kalamandalam.
Okay.
Where it's a day trip actually,
Right.
where they go and they have a program called the Day with the Masters, where their guests are taken through the different classrooms, where the children are taught the different art
Are
forms.
you going to a school then? Do you?
Yeah, we are going to the academy, the dance. It's called Kalamandalam. It's where they teach Kathakali and Mohini Attam and
Oh, I see,
Bharatanatyam
yeah.
and all the instruments,
I see.
Kerala instruments.
Yeah.
and they're taken to that and they're shown around the classrooms. Then after that, we take them to Guruvayur to see the elephant stables,
Oh,
and then there's a mural school there. We take them into the mural school and then bring them back.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. What about the? I understand that you do an Ayurvedic thing and also yoga and things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. We have an Ayurvedic hospital run by a missionary
Okay,
close to the property.
okay,
So if anybody wants a rejuvenation massage, or even if they want a treatment, we lodge them here and take them for the treatment and bring them back.
okay.
And yoga, we have professional yoga masters.
And they come
Yeah,
here.
they come over here,
Okay.
and because we have very nice grounds
Yes.
to do the yoga, and they come here early in the morning and teach them the yoga classes. But we have a yoga package which
Right.
is available on our website,
Yeah.
where the guests come for a week and they do yoga and they do Ayurveda and they do the activities and everything put
Right.
together. And the other thing we have is we have cooking classes
Right.
where we teach the guests some of the dishes that we serve them. And the cooking classes start with going to the market to buy the produce,
Right.
and then they come back, and then they do the class, and then
Is that done at your premises itself?
yeah, it's done here.
Done
It's
here.
done here. It's
Yeah.
done here, and then they have what they cook for lunch. Yeah.
Okay, and okay,
Yeah.
so they feed themselves as a
that's right.
result of their cooking. Yeah.
Yes,
so,
that's
so-
right.
And this is open to anybody with no experience in cooking? Or?
Yeah. This is what we teach. What we teach is, things that they can go back home and do.
Okay.
Like we use, the vegetables that are available back where they come from.
Okay.
Like potatoes, beans,
Right. Right.
cauliflower, cabbage, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you describe the history of
The house.
of the house?
Okay, the
Very
house
briefly.
is built by my great great grandfather. It's 250 years old, and I'm the fifth generation living in it. And the ancestors were agriculturists,
Right.
and they owned at one time 1,500 acres in the district.
Right.
And so most of the land that you see around here belonged to the family.
Yeah.
And the houses that are there, the houses that are there are either our workers or our tenants.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah. And what have you done to renovate the property for Western lifestyles?
yeah. Now what we've done over here is we haven't changed the main structure as such. The flooring in the public areas has been changed to marble floors.
Right.
And we have broken down walls and put in windows and partitioned off rooms for toilets. So everything in the house, other than the house, is new.
Right.
Okay? And all rooms are en suite, and it's what do you say? Simple living. Okay, it is not a 5-star hotel, but it's comfortable
Yeah,
rooms.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you give discussions with people on traditional Indian way of life as it
Oh
was?
yes. I love to talk to the guests,
Good.
and I'm always around to answer all their questions. I go with the guests wherever they go. Okay, so if you have two couples coming in one day and then you have another one coming in the next day, we continue on with what we're doing,
Okay.
but not repeating
Not
what has
repeating
been
what the
done.
others
Yes.
have done.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Well,
Yeah.
what about the natural life in the
Okay,
area?
there's a lot of bird life here. In our backyard, we have 200 different species of birds that have been spotted by our naturalists, and it's up on the dining area wall,
Right.
so guests can go out and see, you know,
What they're
which of
watching.
the ones that have been spotted.
So it's
And-
an ideal place for twitchers.
So yeah, that's right.
Great.
And there are lots of white peacocks in the area,
Great.
and if you're lucky, you see them
That's it. Yeah.
on our lawns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely. What sort of acreage of land is
We-
open
we are
to
on-
your guests?
Yeah, we are open on, we are set on 10 acres,
Right.
and the whole place is open to guests.
Okay.
The whole house is open to guests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the seasonal side of things? What is the best season for people to come? What sort of months?
Okay, September through November is a good season, although you do get some rain, but it's really not bothering.
Okay.
But the tourist season in the area is from December to March.
Okay.
Okay, and then in April it gets very hot.
What would you say are the highlights that tourists can see in terms of scenery in the area? say in
Scenery, yeah,
December?
we have a local, what do you say, trek
Right.
that we organize.
Yeah.
It's a 6 kilometer trek along a water canal
Yeah.
where you can see birds and different vegetations on both sides of the canal, and little, you know, temples and what do you say, smaller villages
Right.
along the walk.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a very interesting walk, and a lot of the guests have enjoyed going the
One
trek.
of the things that I remember is in the season when the paddy fields are green,
Yeah.
when the wind blows through the paddy fields,
Yeah.
it's a fantastic sight.
Yes, it is a good sight. The paddy fields, uh, they have different shades of green.
Right.
Okay, and as the paddy ripens,
Ripens.
it turns a little bit of a golden brown,
Right.
and that gets it gets to a golden brown only in February.
Okay.
Okay, and also in September. Okay, where the first crop, we have two crops over here, and the first crop ends in September, and the second one is in February.
What would you ask if guests are coming? Is there anything you warn them against before they came here? Is there anything that you need to say? Well, don't do this or don't do that. Is there anything like that?
Don't do smoking is allowed only outside of the
Okay.
premises, not in the rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no tipping anybody. We have a box, a common box that they can tip,
Okay.
and if they go on their walks, don't give anything to anybody.
Okay.
No, to the children, no pencils, pens. What do you say? Any
Handouts,
sort of
handouts.
gifts, any sort of handouts. Okay, but photographs are welcome because this helps the guests coming later on, so they're not, the children
Yes.
don't spoil. Like in most tourist areas, you have people, children asking for things, and then finally they end up asking for money,
Yes.
which you don't want
Okay.
happening. So we have been very successful, we have been in operation now 17 years, and we have been very successful in seeing that none of the children in the area ask for money.
Good.
പിന്നെ ഇത് ഈ
Well-
ചെരുപ്പ് വരണ്ടേ ഉള്ളിൻ്റെ ഉള്ളിൽ
Yes.
അതൊരു മസ്റ്റാണല്ലേ
Yes. Coming into the house, we request guests to remove their footwear. But if they want to wear something on their foot, they can wear rubber sole slippers that are used only in the house.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, can I say it's been a wonderful pleasure staying here. I've actually thoroughly enjoyed it, and I certainly hope that we will be able to help you to.
Thank you very much, and I've enjoyed your company.
And
and
hopefully
enjoyed
you'll come
having
back
you
again.
here. I hope so too. Excellent.
Excellent. Let's see how that